Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the book that I want to read in the month of June. So today I'm going to be talking about 9 books that I want to read in the month of June. I'm just going to start again. So the first book is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair. This is a book that's been all over Book Talk, and it is a Hades and Persephone retelling, a steamy one apparently, and yeah, I've been wanting to read it. That's literally all I know. I mean, if you know what the story of Hades and Persephone is, you know, I believe it's like Hades gives Persephone like a pomegranate or tells her to pick some sort of seeds, and then the amount of seeds that she picks is the amount of months that she has to stay in the underworld with him, and then they end up falling in love eventually. But what?
Persephone isn't. It's Penelope.
No, it's Persephone.
It's Penelope.
It's Persephone.
It's Penelope.
It's Persephone.
That's incorrect.
Jack's trying to tell me that
Fake news!
Jack's trying to tell me that it's Penelope and not Persephone.
It
It's
is.
Persephone.
What do you mean?
Go away. You're gonna tell me his name's not Hades, it's Henry?
It is Hades.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway,
it is Henry.
excuse our argument here. But yes, I'm very excited to read this. Everybody has said that they really loved it. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. The next book that I have on this list is Fortuna Swarm by KJ Sutton. This is also, also the other one is a new adult fantasy. This is also a new adult fantasy. Well, I guess the other one's a new adult fantasy retelling. It's a retelling of Persephone and Hades, but this is a new adult fantasy. Really love new adult fantasy after I read From Blood and Ash. I'm very excited to read more. So this follows Fortuna, and 2 years ago her brother went missing, and she ends up working at the bar, and one night, she ends up working at a bar, but she, I believe, has magic, and she hides among the humans, and at night she tries to search for him. Then one day a man comes in with like information about her brother, and an adventure ensues, I'm assuming. Like all adventures do, exactly.
Yes.
Oh, and he's a fairy. The person who has information is a fairy. So yes, I'm very excited to read this. I have heard that it's very good. A lot of people like this. Aaliyah from Book Talk, oh my god, what is her name? I think it's Aaliyah Reads or something like that. She absolutely loves this series, so we'll see how I like it. So the next book that I have on this list is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. This is a mermaid story. I think it's about sirens. Yeah, it's about pirates and mermaids, and it sounds good. It seems like a book that I should read in either June or July. Hopefully I can read this in June because I do have school starting back up in July. However, I only have 2 classes, so I can't really, I mean, it's only, I don't know. It's only 2 classes, so how much work can that really be? I love the pirate mermaid aesthetic. I love reading about pirates. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies have been my favorite since I was a child. I absolutely love them. Like, I will rewatch them to death. But yes, pirates. I also really liked Killer Kingdom, which is a retelling of Little Mermaid. I really liked Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. That was a really good duology. But yes, I'm always looking for more pirate books. I'm also planning on reading Fable at some point. I just don't have it, so I'm not putting it on my TBR right now, but that is also a pirate story, so. Okay, so the next book that I have on this list for my June TBR is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Katie McQuiston. This is also a book that was very popular last summer on Book Talk, BookTube, everything. It basically follows, I believe it's Henry and Alex? Yes, Henry and Alex. And Henry is the Prince of Wales, and Alex is the son of the President of the United States. President of the United States is a woman, by the way, in this, but it is their love story. Yes, so basically what happens is that Alex and Henry have beef with each other. There was a picture that was taken that has them basically in a fight, and so the heads of the family in the state think of this plan to stage a truce between the two of them, but that ends up actually blossoming into a romance and them falling in love. So yes, I'm very excited about this. Everybody absolutely loves this book. Katie McQuiston's new book is coming out in June. I think it's like June 1st, which is interesting. Very different from this. It's also a sapphic romance, but it's very different from this. But yes, I've heard that everybody really loves this, so I'm very excited to read this. Okay, so next is Dearest Josephine by Caroline George. Yes, I said her name correctly. This book came out in the beginning of January, I believe, and it was one of my most anticipated releases. Or it came out last year. No, I think it came out in the beginning of this year. Basically, this is a historical fiction contemporary novel. The whole premise of this book is that we follow Josephine in the year 2021, or her name's Josie, not Josephine, and her name's Josie DeClaire, and her father ends up dying and I believe leaves her a trunk, and in the trunk there's a bunch of letters, and they're all love letters from this guy named Elias, but Elias was alive in 1821. So 200 years ago, this guy Elias was there, and the love of his life was Josephine DeClaire, and he wrote these letters. He wrote dozens and dozens of letters to Josephine, and now 200 years later, she's reading them, and she's falling in love with Elias, even though he's not real, he's real, but he's just not alive anymore. So yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting, I have been like holding the book down here the entire time. I am so sorry. I think it'll be a very interesting read. I believe it's also set in England. I'm gonna read this because it's very short, but basically the inside flap says 1821, Elias Roach has ghastly luck with women. He met Josephine DeClaire once and penned dozens of letters hoping to find her again. 2021, Josie DeClaire has questionable taste in boyfriends. The last one nearly ruined her friendship with her best friend. Now in the wake of her father's death, Josie finds Elias's letters. Suddenly she's falling in love with a guy who lived 200 years ago, and Star Crust doesn't even begin to cover it. It just sounds like a cute, maybe not cute because you know they actually can't be together, but a very interesting love story that transcends time. So yes, I'm very excited to read this. Okay, so the next two books that I have actually go together, and that is Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. These are the first two books in the Throne of Glass series. I have already read these. I absolutely loved all of the entire series, but I have been wanting to reread them, wanting to reread the entire series. I have the entire series right here. I have all of them, and Crescent City. I also want to reread Crescent City, but not yet. So I put basically Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight on my TBR for right now because I do have other books and I want to reread it during the summer, but I don't know if I'm going to be reading the entire series in this month. So I have both of them on my TBR, like on my actual list of TBR, but not quite sure if I'm actually going to just read these two, maybe just read Throne of Glass, maybe read these two and then more. Not quite sure, but that is. So if you're living under a rock and don't know what Throne of Glass is about, it is basically about Selena Sardothian, and she is, at the beginning of this book, trapped in Endovir. And Endovir are these salt mines that she was imprisoned there because the king caught her and put her there. She is the most notorious assassin of Adeland. I can never say it. But, so that is why she's in prison. However, at the very beginning of this book, Dorian and Kale, the prince of Ardeland and the captain of the guard, come and get her out of prison because Dorian, the prince's father, is hosting a competition to find his assassin. So all of the lords that are there, there's like 30 some of them, have each picked their champion, and Dorian picked Selena to be his champion. And it's this whole thing. There's a whole bunch more that happens, but the very big premise of this is that it's a competition, so throughout we get different challenges and things, and there's also magic in it. It's a really good series. It definitely starts off one way and then finishes a complete other way with the 8th book technically, because Assassin's Blade is a prequel. It's 5 prequel novellas, but they are also a part of the series. So yes, very excited to reread these. The biggest reason I want to reread them is because I want to tab them. I didn't tab when I was first reading them, and now I have them in hardcover. I read them all in paperback. I bought them in hardcover to be able to tab. So yes, I want to read those. So the second to last book that I want to read in the month of June is Roundbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is her newest fantasy novel. It just came out in May, and it sounds really good. It follows, I believe, 5 or 6 perspectives. There's a squire, an immortal, an assassin, an old sorceress, a pirate, and a pirate's daughter. There's 5 of them. Even though I believe there's like 7 of them in the, I don't know. We follow 5 different perspectives, and they are all on a quest. It says the heroes are gone, but the fight to save the world has just begun. So all of them band together to save the world. It is the first in a series, It is 568 pages long, and I'm very excited to read this. Very excited. She's a chunky book. She's chunky. I mean, she's not that, like, she's not the chunkiest I've ever seen.
Is she a chunky book?
No, she's chunky. She's
Oh.
thick. She's a thick book.
How many C's?
3.
Okay,
These, hang on, let me scooch over really quick.
I got you.
These 3 are chunky with 5 C's. See the difference? You see it?
They're chunky, bro.
Chunky! Chunky monkeys! But yes, I'm very excited to read this. I believe, so Victoria Aveyard absolutely loves Lord of the Rings, so I'm assuming this is going to be a Lord of the Rings type story. The last book on this list, and the last book that I'm planning, hopefully, on reading in the month of June, is The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is a standalone fantasy romance novel. And it is basically pitched as a Slytherin love story. Even in the beginning, her dedication is to one of her friends, and it says, "For Becky, I can't think of anyone more deserving of this Slytherin romance. Thanks for reading it first." So basically, we follow Alessandra, and Alessandra's only goal in life is to kill the Shadow King. But in order to do that, she has to get close to him. So to get close to him, she ends up marrying him and trying to get close enough to kill him. I believe she probably tries a few times and then they actually fall in love. Now, I've said this before, I'm not sure if I want this to end where her goal is to kill him, but then she doesn't kill him because she falls in love, or if her goal is to kill him and even though she falls in love with him, she still kills him, because arguably that would be a more interesting story. But I don't know, but I'm very interested. And look at this spine. Look how pretty that is. I'm trying to not blind you. There we go. Such a pretty spine.
Cool looking spine.
It's a cool looking spine. I also really love this cover. But yes. Oh, and not only is she wanting to kill the thing, she's trying to take the kingdom for herself. Wait, but see, now knowing that, because I didn't know that previously, it makes me think that she's not going to kill him and they're just going to rule together, which is what I wanted for Rey and Ben. I don't know why in Star Wars. I don't know why I wanted Rey to go evil and rule with Ben as supreme leader and her be like a badass, but I wanted it so bad and it didn't happen. So hopefully this will fill my void. But yes, those are all of the books that I want to read in the month of June. Likely probably won't stick to this TBR. We'll probably have other books that I did not include on this list because that would be not on brand for me to just read the books on my TBR. But we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for all of these books. There's a lot of fantasy on here. I tried to have some contemporaries in there to break up the flow. But yes, so that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. If you want to read any of these, or if you have read any of these, please do leave a comment below telling me your thoughts. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And that's it. So wherever you are, whatever time it is, I hope you are good, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.